Hi, Faiza. Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Supan. Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good as well. Uh, my my that time of the month started like yesterday, so it's kind of been like
Oh
a
God.
uh.
Yeah, I understand.
So online discussion, and I have to talk a lot, and so yeah, it's kind of a
Good
daunting,
luck.
but
Yeah, good luck.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm
hectic to
hoping
work
that
in that situation.
yeah, I'm hoping that everybody joins in, as fast as they can, so that we
Yeah,
can.
I hope. I'm also currently in one of an event. I've taken a half an hour break.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hi, Bindu. Hi, Bindu. Can you hear me? And can you see me? Gallery view. Yeah. I think this will be a better. I think the recording will also come out better. Bindu, can you hear me or can I hear you?
Hi, Sukana.
Hi, thank you for joining, Bindu. I know you have a busy, week and you have several things to do, but thank you for joining and thank you for also pointing out some of the things I missed actually. So there is a part where there is a Plutarch has come. Okay, great. Lovely. I will talk about that in the discussion actually. Who has come? Is everybody come? Hi, Plutarch. Hi, Shipra. Thank you so much for joining. Um, I am so glad that you guys have joined in. Should I start the meeting? Because I don't want to lose you guys. uh, to here. Simran hasn't joined in. Hello, hello. Yeah, yeah. Tick, 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 tick. Uh, uh, uh. Flag. Krutat, your flag always amuses me. It's a nice gesture. I have one friend who also has it. Why is everybody so quiet? Okay, guys. Actually, just share with me also that what's you know uh, kind of your main experience of reading the book.
Hi, Sukana.
Am I lagging, Bindu?
No.
अच्छा अच्छा मैं इसीलिए पूछ रही हूँ because you said hi second time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, she's downloading it. हाँ वो because Google Meet में doesn't record on just a moment, just a moment. It's 4-4. Okay. Okay, I'll ask. Hi Anjali. I think we can start. Let's start. You may join in.
Hi.
Hi Anjali,
Hi.
welcome to Read With Us online
Thank
discussion.
you. Thank you so
And
much.
we're so glad to have you with us in this discussion, and we are getting to read your book after I think more than 1.5 years when it came, and
Yes.
actually we were all very surprised with how easy it was to read and how it came, very originally and seamlessly. We kind of got into you know its narrative. So before I start talking about the characters, I just wanted to know, because we are, kind of being introduced to you for the very first time, although we have similar circles of authors.
Yes.
Who is Anjali Kriplani and why did she want to become a writer?
Okay. Well, I think I used to, when I was younger, I used to describe myself as this free spirit and very curious person, which I think still holds true. Older now, but still in my head, I'm still 19, like one of my books, which was called 19 Till I Die. So I think I actually have always wanted to do multiple things. I'm someone who gets bored of things very easily, which is why I've had numerous jobs. I've been a lecturer, I've been an RJ, I've been a TV anchor, I have been a media professional, marketing professional. So I think because I want to do so many things, writing is the one sort of field that allows me to actually live out my dreams in this way. In terms of, when I create characters that are doing various things, it's like I'm getting to do all those things. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I think I always wanted to be a writer also, is just to fulfill this curiosity of mine of, what it would be like to do, something, do a particular profession, or be a certain way. And of course, I think I didn't never realize it when I was younger, but I loved meeting new people and I loved knowing people's stories. So every time I would meet a person, I would love to know their history, like where are you from, what is your relationship sort of history, not from a nosy way, but I now that I think about it, I think it was me just observing people and actually using it somewhere for my characters and using it for my writing. So I think I've just genuinely been curious about people from a young age, and that's how it's always been. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. So, one of my, I think question I asked to every female author I have been meeting for the last 1 year or so. So, you have written about Bollywood, and you've written about an actress and her entire journey in Bombay, and where she lands up and how what she faces.
Yeah.
So, looking at your profile also, you've been an RJ, you have worked in Bombay in certain with certain magazines, fashion magazines. So where does Anjali begin and Meghna starts? Because it almost felt like because I had a conversation with you, and I've almost felt like I think Anjali would have done this. Like I was reading the book and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is something, because it was in your voice. So sometimes you even get it from the voice, and I was like, yeah, Anjali would have said this. So
Yeah.
yeah, how much of Meghna is Anjali and how much is Anjali is Meghna?
Yeah, I think a lot of me is in the character Meghna. You've identified that very well because so I, as you know, I grew up in South Africa. I lived there till I completed my high school and my university there. And then I worked there for a year. I was an RJ, and then I wanted to come back to Bombay because I'm originally from Bombay. And so when I moved to Bombay, I had come with this goal that I want to be a TV anchor. But when I was sort of trying to apply for jobs and looking around for how to make this happen, people advised me that, in Bombay, so my goal was to be someone like Ryan Seacrest and, just like anchor, and that would be my thing. And people were like, but that's not really there in India. Everything is connected. So you should actually try acting. And so I have gone to these auditions. Basically, I've sat there and, I've said these like Sindoor, ek chutki bhar sindoor kind of like TV serial dialogues. And it's also like, I mean, it actually doesn't come naturally to me. So I would be like trying to learn these dialogues, but also like wondering, like, is this, do I really want to do this? Like, why am I doing this? And then I've had that moment of like going and, giving an audition, freezing in front of the camera, or doing a scene badly and being like, that was so bad. And, so those nerves that come to you when you're in an audition. So I've experienced that. Then, in the book, Meghna does this play, which never ends up happening. And I had also, I'd done these acting classes, and then I'd been selected to play Sita, funny enough, in a play. And I remember the director sitting with me and saying, you have to cry in this scene. And as I realized later, I'm not a good actor. So I wasn't doing that very well. And then he was like, people are going to come and watch this play. Like, what are you doing? And then the play never ended up happening after everything because we didn't get sponsorship, just like it happens also in the book. I have taken part in a reality show, but not a love reality show. It was an anchor hunt. So it was actually not this. That was more an anchor hunt. And I'd made it like to the top 10 or whatever. But so I knew a little bit of like how reality TV and those cameras and how like that works. But then I watched Splitsvilla for research because I wanted to make the love reality show funny and ridiculous also. But funny enough, that is the truth. I mean, these shows are like that, right? So it had to have that realistic element as well as being ridiculous. So yes, so I always say, I think my books are always a blend of fact and fiction. So a lot of it will always be my life, but then there's a lot of fiction also, because especially when it comes to things like romance and everything, as much as everyone wants that perfect fairy tale romantic sort of thing. Of course, I'm married and everything, so that happens, but not necessarily to that level of the way things are in a book. So it's always fact and fiction. It's a blend.
So, coming to your writing, apart from the fact and the fiction combination, I love your humor timing. It was so 4 pages into the book, and I landed on this sentence of the one of the parents says to Meghna, and I laughed out loud because I could clearly see it happening in my house. Yeah. And where the parents, so the caricatures that you made of the characters, the fictional part of it, and yet how relatable they are. So were those your parents? Because I apart from them being so relatable, they're also somebody you kind of didn't expect that a family from Chandigarh to be so supportive. So is this something you also kind of went through, the support in being a writer as Meghna was? And please tell us where does your humor come, because it's very subtle, but it hits you and you laugh out loud. I was reading it 11 in the night and I laughed out loud, and it's one of those moments where you are telling your parents that you did this, that's why you're saying all this, and they're like, so that was that moment, and it was just I just burst out laughing.
I think essentially all Indian parents are very similar, right? Especially of a certain generation, right? Like we as parents would probably be cooler, or we hope that we'll be cooler, but we might end up becoming exactly like our parents. Let's see. But when it comes to Meghna's parents, of course, I knew that they had these characters from Chandigarh, so their way of talking, especially for example, the mother's sense of dressing. We all know these loud aunties that dress in a certain way. So all of that comes from just observation. So So I would say my own mother has a very good dressing sense. So that's not, like that bit is not from my mom. But in terms of like her parents, like the worry that they have when she says, "Oh, I want to be an actor," I did get similar reactions. I remember, as I said, people told me you should become an actor if you want to, make it on TV and everything. So I remember going for this. It was an Ekta Kapoor serial or something, and I got called to be like an extra in this thing. So I was like, at that point, I was like, I'll do anything. I was also quite young. I was 21 and whatever. So then my mother at that point came with me and was in the studio in Chandivali. And I was okay. And my mother just kept making faces and she just was like, what is this nonsense? And at that point, my dad was in South Africa still. And my mother is also a character. She is someone who gets very stressed and nervous in general. So she was like, my God, and they'll be shooting all night and late in the night, and you will be an extra here. What is this nonsense? Is this why you studied business science? So she just kept like doing all this in my ear to the point where I eventually said, okay, fine, never mind. I'm not doing this. I don't want to be an extra. It's okay. Let's just go. So I feel like, so these characters, we all have observed our parents. We've observed friends' parents, you know what Indian parents would be like. So a lot of it is taken from my own parents, and then of course you exaggerate and you or you add elements, to make it more funny or more comical. But yes, I think somewhere the relatability is important to me, because I think when I, as a reader, when I read books, and if I can relate to, characters, and I can relate to certain emotions of, the way people speak, it just, it leaves a lasting impact for me. And I'm just like, yes, like, I completely get it. So when I set out to write my books, that is what I wanted to do. I wanted people to be able to relate to it, because especially when it comes, sometimes I feel like Indian authors, of course, and there's different styles and everyone has their own style, but especially, and I don't think this happens so much now, but back in the day, I think everyone wanted to sort of appear cool. So I remember reading, somewhere in one of the books, like this character is like, oh, my favorite, and she's supposed to be a young character, like, our age or younger. And she's like, my favorite movie is Breakfast at Tiffany's. And then I remember thinking at that point, but like actually, like for our age, like your favorite movie would probably not be Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's probably like Dil Chahta Hai or something, right? So when it came to writing my books, I wanted my characters to have that, like they're not being pretentious. They are Indian characters. They've grown up in India. So, they have, this is how they are, and this is what they will like, the things they like, and they will. So I just never wanted my characters to be pretentious. I wanted them to be that real, where when you're reading, you can be like, hey, this is either you say this is me, or I can relate to this, or this is my friend, or I know someone like this. So yeah, I think that's more what I had in mind.
Yeah, because reading the novel, I could feel I could like sense my head nodding a lot, like, yeah. Meghna, you're right on point, because she's like, when she's in the, like, in the beginning of the book, when she's in the reality show, and she's like, looking and rolling her eyes, that, oh my God, so this, somebody must have told her to do this, somebody, and, or her situation, what's going in her head, and you're like, yeah. So you also feel there is a geeky side to Meghna, and there is a kind of a swoony side. So she also swoons, and she also wants to become an actress, but there is also this very level-headed geekishness that kind of keeps her grounded. Yet she when she tries to be, she feels there is a connection, and everything topples there. So how do you feel like like writing a character like this, where because we all think that whoever is going out there to Bombay to fulfill their dreams, they're empty here, because that's what Meghna also, she's also of that assumption. So what has been your experience meeting people like who aspire to be actors, or who are in this line? So what kind of experience has been yours, and where do you feel that there are people like Meghna who are a little bit level-headed and bookish, in a geek kind of a way?
Oh yeah, a lot. I think, in fact, and this has changed, right? Because we all know, like, the whole dynamics in Bollywood, especially with OTT coming in, has changed so much in the last few years. So yes. Hi, are you still there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Oh, so your video stopped. So I was like, okay.
Oh, no,
Yes.
no. I just froze.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think increasingly you meet people who are actually like, really intelligent. They've studied different things. They are focused in their lives. They speak well, and then they want to they want to act, or they want to make it in Bollywood somehow, right? And that's the other thing which sort of comes out in the book, is that, everyone always looks at just acting or actors, but there are so many other professions at the fringes of Bollywood that people can do, and which people do, young people do opt for today, right? And you can become like a celebrity stylist, you could become a makeup artist, you can do so many things which where you can actually excel and you'll do really well and you make a name for yourself. So in the last few years, I think Bollywood has also changed. The dynamics have changed quite a bit. So in my experience also, I've met so many, people who've come to Bombay who want to become actors. And there are people who are very well read, they've read a lot, they're very intelligent, they're very smart. But yeah, there's this calling, and there's this passion, and there's this, something calling you to like try out acting, or to, you really want to do it. It's your dream. So yeah, I think it's so somewhere in the book, I also wanted it to be for those people who have these assumptions that, like Bollywood is for bimbos, or like, and which is why like her parents also say those things, right? That, oh, acting is for dumb people. And that's when it's said in that way, that's when you as a reader also will be like, yeah, but that's not true, like these are generalizations. So I basically somewhere did want to break those stereotypes also along the way. And similarly with the whole casting couch thing as well, right? Because we all hear so many rumors about Bollywood, and you all hear about like so much of stuff that happens. And having worked in like again around the fringes of stuff, because I've worked in PR and media and all of that, I've heard so my fair share of stories and rumors and things like that. So of course, that there is some truth to it. There is some level of couch casting. There is some level of stuff that happens, but it can't be the whole thing, right? It can't be the whole picture. And so which is why like even when they go to this big stars party, and like Kabir is telling her about the things that happen, it's giving you like a real picture, but it's not like doing this like when the whole Sushant thing happened, and then all the news channels were going crazy and being like ye dekho ye nashire log, or ye log pura time drugs karte hain. Like it's so dramatic, and you're like, okay, it's not it's not as nutty as that.
It turned into a
Yes.
reality. It turned into a reality show, actually.
Exactly.
Kind of,
Like they dramatize, they take it to another level. So we're like, listen, all of this happens, and let's be real. Like it's in today's day and age. I mean, yes, there's drugs, there's couch casting, there's this, there's that, there's everything. But there are, there's also other ways to get to your dream. There's other ways of making it happen. You don't have to do something if you don't want to do it, and that I think was something that I wanted to sort of get across also with the novel.
Okay, great. So, I also saw that you have covered, the Me Too movement through in the narrative, and which is why I was also going to come, but you have actually answered that. But no, like you were talking about you knowing people in the industry. I also wanted to talk about the trio of Shivisha, Nakul, and Meghna. So.
Yeah.
It is very early into the book, but there is a point where Meghna and Shivisha kind of go through a same audition, and Meghna kind of crumbles her moral system. She kind of she doesn't she realizes that her friendship is going to be marred because of this same path that has been chosen. So do you feel that or have you met people like these, that their friendship has been marred because they were friends before joining the industry or joining any kind of field,
and
they kind of grew apart because they were competitors now?
Yeah. See, I think competition is very real, and actually it happens in any industry, right? So even if like you and your friend are both CAs, for example, but your friend ends up like their career really takes off and they do really well, and you open LinkedIn and you see all their achievements, and you're like, oh, so that happens. It could be like a really close friend, and you'll feel happy for your friend, but that that little tinge of like, oh my God, like because it's someone who you've known, who you've grown up together, for example, and they started out at the same level as you, but now say they've reached there and you're here. That's just human nature to kind of compare or feel bad. So yeah, I think I wanted to show that like because firstly, I also feel like I am always very against these absolutely goody two shoes characters. Like, because I think everyone has gray shades, right? Everyone on this face of like planet Earth will, you have good, you have bad. And so yeah, so I feel like there's nothing wrong with, like, it's a very natural feeling. It would have happened to anyone. You go for something, and then and this does sometimes happen in life in different situations, right? It could be with romance, right? It could be that you've been waiting to get married, and now your friend has found this perfect guy and she's getting married. And then in that moment, you'll be happy for your friend, but you're like, oh my God, what about me? And so I think that is a very natural feeling, which sort of comes from. So I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, maybe certain instances in my own life, it's smaller things perhaps, and also just human nature and observing human nature. I think because, I've had conversations with like various people, with friends, with sisters, and we've had this conversation that, especially because of social media, these days, you'll see your friends' achievements and you see that people are doing so well in life. And like, I remember once my sister was telling me that someone she went to school with, and that person was like not even a smart person, like they used to fail in school or something, and she's like, but that person is so successful today. And then she's like, and now, so I was thinking, and so she's, so she's like, and what am I doing with my life? So I think and my sister is like a wonderful person, she's a genuinely very nice person, but these are just normal natural feelings, and we all go through it. So I mean, even for me, and like in the author community itself, I think it's a very supportive community. We all read each other's books. Everyone supports everyone. You go to each other's book events. But say an author that you has started out at the same time as you, and they end up, achieving some amazing milestone that you wanted to achieve. For a minute, you will feel, or for many minutes, you might just be like, "Oh my God, like why that should have been me." So I think it's that level of honesty should be there, and it comes across also. And so within this, friendship, sort of in this group, she realizes it in that moment. She's like, shit, like I used to have this very pure like feeling towards my friend, like I was always so happy for her, but now that she's in the same field and she's doing what I wanted to do, now I'm going to be like, I can't help it, now I am going to feel jealous. And she does, right? And then later on, when there's this award ceremony where her friend is winning all these accolades, and people are like, her friend has become, she realizes, wow, my friend has actually become successful, and I'm still like, in her head, I'm still a loser. So yeah, those feelings I think are valid, and I wanted to sort of put them there.
Yes, exactly. So basically, I think you have just told me that why Meghna is so relatable, because everything that she's feeling, and because it's a one point of view book, so you can actually feel those feelings, and like, yeah, like, this happened, this I also felt like this. So
Yeah.
throughout reading the book, I was also feeling the same. So because I also yeah, so Simran is saying there is a lot of
I
questions.
read that.
Yeah, when she left Kabir alone when he needed her most, but really was so happy with ending. But how just you imagined about that, and about this beautiful ending supported by her friend.
Yeah.
By her friend Nakul.
Yes.
So I have asked all the questions that I wanted to, but the main question that I want to ask is that what's next in store from Anjali Kriplani?
Yes.
Because this was a very nice Bollywoodish, but yes, what's next?
Yeah. So I'm working on my next fiction, which has taken longer than it should have. But one day it will be out, but hopefully soon. So that's a family drama. So that's more, I loved the movie Kapoor and Sons, and I was very fascinated by the dynamics of the family there, because again, we see these hum saath saath hai families, and then in reality, you have these certain issues within a family that sometimes get resolved, sometimes go unresolved for many years. So I was fascinated by that, and I wanted to write about that. So that is the next book is basically based on that, but I can't talk too much about it. But yeah, it's that. And then also working on some other projects. I'm constantly trying to do multiple things, but and many of those things, then they sometimes they end up happening, sometimes they don't end up happening. But so yeah, so I am working on some stuff, but I guess it's too soon to talk. So yes, as I said, my curious nature, I'm like, I'll be doing something, but then I'm like, oh, that's interesting, I should do that. And then like somewhere I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've had my own PR agency, I've done things here and there. But I think somewhere that entrepreneurship bug is also there. And so I've been wanting to start something of my own. So let's see. let's see where life takes us.
So it's open for everybody who want, for everybody else. So please go ahead and ask questions to Anjali regarding writing, regarding the book, and anything else. Shipra is here. Yeah. So Pruthat says that he's also trying his luck in entrepreneurship. Any
Yes,
advice for
thank
him?
you. Well, I mean, I'm not I'm not an entrepreneur yet myself, so it's like the blind leading the blind if I give you advice. But no, but more than that, I mean, I think I did this women startup program which was focused on entrepreneurship. It was run by IIM, and I had done that, and I'd been selected there and all of that. So one of the main things there, what our lecturer said, which made a lot of sense, is that if you have an idea and you want to start a business, just do it. Because I think more often than not, we waste a lot of time in like prototype, will this work, talking to people, in being in our head, and then especially with being an entrepreneur, it's a tough thing also because there's no one else sitting, giving you these deadlines. So it's all up to you. So, and this has I've experienced this myself, where I have a good idea, I'm excited to do something, and then because I don't like work on it fast enough, it loses steam somewhere, and then you're just like and you drop it, right? So I think if you believe in your idea, then definitely get people's opinion. Yes, and that's also important. I think somewhere we also feel like, oh, I shouldn't discuss my ideas because someone will steal it. But what they taught us there is that no, but firstly, no one has that. You yourself have not been able to do it. People are lazy. So no one is really going to go ahead and start it. And you're not really like, you've not really come up with like Facebook or anything. So calm down. but you can discuss, so you can definitely run your ideas, get people's opinions, test it out, and then start. And bootstrap it as much and start, and then another important thing which they taught us in that course, which I think can just be applied to life in general, which I try to apply, is also just help people, which is, it's basically putting good energy out there. So someone asks you for a favor, you help them. And it's not even, you're not even doing it from like, oh, tomorrow if I need their help, they'll do it. Because that becomes a very like calculative way of helping people. But I genuinely believe that, people come to you, someone wants help with something, however you can help. If it's in your control and you can help people, sharing contact, sharing stuff. Some people are very guarded about it. They don't want to give you their resources and their contacts. And I just feel like, no, you should do that. Share, give people. It's all good
Those kind
energy.
of
It
people
comes
are
back to you.
everywhere, Anjali. Those kind of people are everywhere. They're so guarded, they don't give you.
Yeah, we've all experienced it, right? Like, that people are like, that they can help you, but they will not give you the number. And then don't hold that grudge also. It's fine. Like, find your way. You'll always find your way. So
Yeah, and that's also something very true that you said, that you find your way. Because
yes.
you ask somebody and they say that we don't know, we have no clue. They put up this front, and then you're like, okay, fine, don't give it. It's okay.
Exactly.
And then you move on, and then you find your way on your own. So the guarded part is so true. But yes, you eventually
so
find your way.
Put that good energy out there. It'll come back to you.
So Siddhant has asked you one part of the book which you and your editor had a fight over, where you wanted to retain it, but the editor wanted to snip it off.
Okay. Yeah, that does happen. Thankfully, like with all my books, I've never had any major parts where they want to like scrap out like a whole thing. It's always been it'll be like little errors or little things that they believe shouldn't be there. And with this book, actually, it wasn't so much I don't remember being anything in the book where content-wise that we had a major fight about or anything. But with the title, yes, I originally wanted to actually call it Another One Bites the Dust because of all the Queen references and Queen. And with my previous books are all song titles or inspired by song titles, right? The one before this was called 19 Till I Die. So obviously 18 Till I Die, Bryan Adams. Then there was Written in the Stars. And before that was Never Say Never. So yeah, so I kind of wanted to call it Another One Bites the Dust. But then editor as well as agent as well as the various people who sit and give you an opinion, they said that Tinsel Town Affair is a more like catchy title. So I think but yeah, as an author, I also like, you can't be this pig-headed person who's like, no, I know best, right? You have to, they are experts, they've been in the field longer than you've been actually. So I'm always open to people. Like I take the suggestions with a pinch of salt. If I really feel strongly about something, then I fight for it. But with Tinsel Town Affair, I don't actually remember there being a major point of contention.
Yeah. So you were telling me about the songs. I just remember that every chapter is a song from Queen.
Yes.
So tell us about that relation. About why did you keep Queen as the theme of all the chapters' names?
Yeah. So yeah, I think it was, so it started with me wanting to call it Another One Bites the Dust, and then while I was doing that, I was like, oh, it would be interesting to have, because they actually have songs for every occasion, right? And like something that Meghna says, that I've loved this band because they literally have songs for every occasion. And there is like the just look at the body of work, like there's so many titles and songs to choose from. And then I thought, and of course, We Are the Champions, like the lyrics really resonate with, I think it's one of those songs, where you feel whenever you want to motivate yourself, like, yes, I can do it. So yeah, so I think that was the reasoning behind wanting to, call each chapter a Queen song title. And I done something similar with Written in the Stars, because that focused more on astrology and tarot and, like, is there such a thing as destiny? So there, every chapter was like a tarot term, like so Ace of Swords or whatever. Like, yeah, I can't remember the exact chapter titles, but yeah, so I did that there with astrology. So I thought that was kind of fun to do.
So Simran is asking, in starting I was confused that Nakul is girl or boy. So I knew that Nakul is a boy, but okay. But after that scene which happens just before Meghna's mom comes, I come to know he's boy. So what makes you write him gay? Nice question. I mean, you were best guy, bestie for both Meghna and
Yes.
Shivi, but why that point? Why gay? Why?
Yeah, I think because, when we're talking about contemporary fiction, I think we have to reflect like the times we live in, right? And I just feel like this whole, the whole LGBTQ community and all of that, there's been so much speculation around it. In our country, of course, there was a Section 377 and all of that. There's been so much that has happened and that's been said. But, and then, of course, there's all that criticism with Bollywood, because when they have gay characters, they're so stereotypical, right? And like, they've always kind of showed it in this typical way. So yeah, I think for me personally, I have a lot of friends who are gay, and I think it comes from because I studied in a girls' school, so I was never comfortable having guys as friends. I actually don't have a lot of straight guys who are my friends. I have a lot of girlfriends, and then I'll have guys who are my friends. I end up getting attracted to the gay friends, like they become my friends because So I had generally a lot of gay friends. And I just thought that for this kind of character, like it would make a lot of sense to have this guy as her friend, and it adds that level of I think just like the real picture of today's day and age. Like, you have friends who are gay and it's fine, and I wanted to know, and sometimes to normalize things, you don't have to actually go out and like scream on the streets about it. In fact, when you just have it as it's just a fact, like, we're not going to make a big deal about it. Knuckles gay, he's got a boyfriend, it's fine, it's all normal. That actually then normalizes it much more. And in terms of like her mother not getting it and kind of being like, oh, I don't understand in our times, like, and that's something that's a kind of discussion I've had with my parents numerous times throughout the years, where they would be like, they just wouldn't get it, and they would be like, but we in our times people were not gay, and I'd be like, no, they were just in the closet. So that's the kind of conversation that I think many people have with their parents, because that generation, it is tough to get through to them. So I think for all those reasons, I like wanted that to be there and just to like normalize it, and it's fine. And he's the thing.
When I started, like when Meghna describes Nakul, it's actually you never introduce him as the until the homosexual guy or the homosexual friend, until the part comes where he introduces his partner.
Yes.
And and then that's because more or less he's just the same guy, apart from his partner being somebody else. So that made that I felt like like it wasn't needed at all that you need to tell it to the reader that Nakul is gay. Nakul is going to be Nakul whether he's straight or he's gay. His personality would have no. So yes, that I completely agree with you. And actually, it was very refreshing to read, because my subconscious felt, but it never was imposed on me that he is homosexual. He was just Nakul, and Meghna's voice also never voices it. It's just like it's there. He's gay. Yes, it's pretty much normal.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
And then Simran asked about Kabir. Kabir is a real person. Is Kabir a real person? Because after reading all about Kabir, I directly searched on Google about character
If only
Kabir.
Kabir was a real person. No, I think that's where us romance authors or like contemporary fiction authors have fun with these male characters, right? They're always like these amazing, they're like too good to be true kind of a thing. But let's hope that they're out there in the world for everyone. I would love for that to be true. But like I think it actually goes back to, there's this quote by, I think it's an American actress, and I can't remember her name now, but she said, I very often come across male characters in fiction and in movies who are much better than the men in real life. And when it comes to women, I know women in real life that are much better than what is portrayed on, in fiction and in books and in movies, which is so true, right? Because if you think about all your Hollywood movies and everything and how they stereotype the women characters, and like you don't see that strength of real life women, which is there all around you. So you don't see that so much in your characters. But the male characters, in especially all the romance novels and all the romance movies, they're always the sweetest guys and full green flags. So if only I would love for that to really be there. But yeah.
As a
So,
casting director, it was quite refreshing to read a young casting director and who's so swoon worthy, and like you want to, oh nice, you want somebody like him and somebody that's
yes.
sensitive, and that kind of maturity in a.
Yeah.
I have only seen written by women. Why is that? Why do you feel, I mean, this is the question I'm asking out of the blue. Why do you feel that only women writers write males so sensitive? I mean,
because we're writing about our ideal men, no? So that's, it's like our dream guys, we're putting them out there on paper, so then that's why we make them so amazing.
Because male writers, if they ever write romance, their men have to be macho, their men have to be like
alpha males.
Yeah, very very much. And some nowadays women are also writing alpha male, also say very red flags and gray, morally gray and whatnot. But yes, how like is Kabir somebody you desire, like?
Oh yeah. I mean, so basically, I think I've generally, people who've read my other books as well. So in my first book, it was this character Siddharth, who was again very, like, people loved him because he was in there. That was more of a like a Pride and Prejudice kind of thing, where she thinks, she has this assumption about him that he's this arrogant guy, and as she kind of spends more time with him, so it's a bit of a hate to love, but it's not, the hate was too strong, but it was just like a dislike and whatever. And then she realizes he's actually such a nice guy. So yeah, I mean, I think I forgot your question. What is the question? Something about,
why only women? Yeah, women writers.
Yeah,
right.
I think women, because see, we kind of know the kind of men that we would like to see more of, right? We don't want these alpha men who are like actually treating you terribly, right? And this is something that, like, I think you can ask any woman. I mean, if you have to choose between a really good looking guy but who's arrogant, treats you badly, speaks badly, or a guy who doesn't look so great but is actually a very nice guy, treats you really well, I think at least the majority of like the smarter women will go with the second person, because at the end of the day, it's about how someone makes you feel, how they're treating you, much more than how they look, right? I think
yeah, men need to realize that women are not dumb, that they would only go for looks. I think, like, if they go for looks, I think they also see something beyond the looks, which men feel that, oh, it's not there. But
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, of course, it just comes down to like personal preferences and all of that. But like, yeah, if I had to speak from my own experience, I have always been, even when I was younger, I was always attracted to intelligence and how someone speaks, how they carry themselves, and then actual personality. Are they funny? And I take a lot of pride in my sense of humor. So then if someone would tell me that, oh, you're so funny, that would be a better compliment for me than like, oh, you're so pretty. Like, that's so boring. So like, it's like, do you recognize my personality that I have worked so hard to cultivate, my sense of humor that I'm so proud of? Do you recognize that and do you appreciate that? And if
I recognize it in your writing. Your humor is spot on. It's just so subtle. It's so subtle, and it's like, but like also it's there, and it makes you laugh a lot. So Shipra has, sorry,
Yes.
a lot of S's around, including myself. Why did you choose to write about a love show? I mean, why not some other show from Meghna, like modeling or dancing or anything, or fun game show? Why a love show?
Yeah, I think that was just like it was done to show that like she's so desperate for a break that she will take anything, right? Because she's second guessing herself even when she takes this opportunity, and she's just like, it's a love show. Like we all watch these people watch these shows. You'll watch Big Boss, you watch it, but you like watching it to also laugh at these people, and you're like, my God, they're so lame, right? So there is that embarrassment also with it, and she's like, oh my God, I'm really doing this. And then of course I think just the format of these love shows, especially like Splitsvilla, these kinds of shows, it's very funny. Like if you sit down to watch it, it's so ridiculous and so silly, and you're just like, oh my God. So I just thought it would make for more, like it should just be funnier, and it would make you laugh more, and there would be situations where you could make it more funny, and have these sort of ridiculous characters, like that one girl who kept saying ye banda kitna ganda hai and whatever nonsense. But I just like, I wanted to have some fun with it, so which is why I was like, okay, this is the way to go. Yeah.
So Kruzad has mentioned that this is best learning experiences, man. Thank you for sharing this. So about the male character. So I wanted to come back to the starting where Meghna kind of gets eliminated just before, and then when the show is aired, there is a segment where you are introduced the theme revolves around trolling, and then we hear Meghna's voice and what she goes through, and I felt like I could really relate to it because somebody just recently, I was not really happy with how a certain actress was being trolled throughout the internet,
Yes.
and I was like, okay, she doesn't know how to act, fair enough, but why this excessive trolling? So somebody said that trolling is subjective. And then I read Meghna, and I was like, so this is what happens, that people don't realize that you're trolling somebody, and you are saying mean stuff to them. And I don't know that if people in this age in social media, trolling can be subjective. Can it be really subjective is what I want to know from you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. See, the thing is, I think obviously with actors, they're just out there, right? They've made themselves kind of open to now criticism, to everything, because but that is kind of true for any creator, right? So even with us as authors, there are times, so I'll get like, for any of my books, I'll have usually, thankfully, thank God, mostly good reviews, and you'll feel happy about it, but you'll get every now and then you'll get that one star, and it'll be like worst book ever. And then you as an author will feel like you've been slapped in the face, and you're like, oh my God. And then you're like, okay, I have like 30 really good reviews, but now this is one bad one, and that's the one that you'll spend all your time thinking about. So that's just human nature. But I think somewhere, anyone who's putting themselves out there, whether you're an actor, whether you're an influencer, whether you're a writer, creator, artist, whatever it is, you have to develop a bit of a thick skin, because people will criticize, right? You could be Leonardo da Vinci, and be like, you could be like any amazing personality, and as they usually say, genius is not recognized in its time. But not only that, necessarily that, but people just criticize. Like, people like criticizing, and for any creator or any performer, I think they should always take pride in the fact that, what, it's much easier for someone to sit on their bed and like sit and type mean things or like say mean things too, but you are the one who's actually creating art. You're the one who's doing something. So it's much better to do something that people are criticizing than to do nothing and criticize people, right? So I think somewhere actors do, and I think more often than not, they do develop this thick skin where they're like, okay, fine, like, so many people hate me, whatever, but I'm, at the end of the day, like, the joke's on you. I'm still the one earning really well with each movie, and I'm doing really well. So the only way to actually be that is to just focus on your work and keep doing it, right? And that goes the same for anything, whether, even if it's authors, anyone, right? Like, you may write a book that's not received as well as you hope, But instead of sitting and wallowing and crying and being like, oh my God, I put my heart out there and everyone hated it, boo-hoo. You just like, you park it and you say, okay, now I move on to my next project. So I think it goes the same for the actors. I think I know which actress you're talking about, of course. The recent show
Yeah,
which
yeah.
we've all watched. But yeah, I mean, and I probably also somewhere felt that yes, maybe the acting skills weren't up to the mark. But then again, there's so many people in Bollywood like that, and they've all been given shots and allowed to continue, acting badly. So yeah, I mean, I think it's sometimes people just go excessive and people are too mean, and there it's sometimes people just become the butt of a joke, and then everyone is just like jumping on that bandwagon, right? And it becomes easier to, and which is why I had that part also where her friend Shivisha has a moment where, like, she has this embarrassing moment and people are making fun of her, and they choose to address it, when Meghna also goes on that talk show, and she's like, and she gets that idea also where she's like, oh, let's Alia Bhatt the situation, because I thought it was amazing what Alia Bhatt had done at that point, right? Everyone was making fun of her intelligence, and then she did that AIB video, which was really, it was like, it was just giving it back to people in that way that, okay, fine, you're laughing at me, I'm laughing at myself. Now what? So I think that is the best attitude to have, and I feel like anyone in today's day and age should actually just have that attitude that, you know what, you're criticizing me, fine. Don't let it get you. Don't take it too personally. You just focus on your work. I mean, that's all you can really do. So,
Wow. Yeah, great take to have actually. Related to show, I had a question why that Mahesh ex came. It was more embarrassing for Meghna and more depressing. My God, everybody really related to Meghna. I think I thought I was the only one. Yeah. So yeah, why did she come? Why did she come?
Yeah.
We all felt that Mahesh was going to be it all, and then
yeah. I think it was especially for that reason, because I think just from my own life as well as other friends' lives, all of that, especially when I was single and all of that, I think I wanted to show that whole thing where, you think that this is the one, I found the one, this is the person. And then life being life, something happens, right? And either that person ends up cheating on you or something crazy happens. And then it turns out that it wasn't that person. And then, so I think that's very, that's also a realistic thing that most people go through. It's very rare, especially in today's day and age, to like meet your soulmate at the age of 16 and that's the one person and then you're happy together. Like, it doesn't happen, right? So you have to go through your levels of, like, you have to have some frogs and then finally you end up finding the prince or whatever. And sometimes even after you found the prince and you think it's all great, then you get married and a few years down the line, then like that also doesn't work out. So it's very reflective of the times we live in. And it's more that like this happens, but you shouldn't let it break you. So in that moment, you feel terrible and you feel like you're the butt of all jokes. Oh my God, I'm such a fool. And I wanted her to be like, to actually be like, I'm so stupid. Like, I've come on a reality show, which we all know is not real. And I actually started having feelings for this person and thought this was all real. And I think that's something which in reality shows you see a lot of, like, people are not being their true real selves any which way, right? The minute you're shoving a camera in someone's face, I mean, like, how much of the truth will they really show you? So, and I think it comes somewhere from, I think, having lived in Bombay, sort of being, as I said, like around the fringes of the industry, you hear a lot of stuff. And I remember once a friend of mine had told me, one of her friends who was an up and coming model had taken part in one of these love reality shows or something where she's like, I'm single and she's here to meet, and she was paired up with whatever guy. But this girl who knew her in real life was like, this is so stupid because she's actually been dating this one guy outside of the show in real life for the last 5 years, and they're still together. So she's just doing this for this show, like for fame and popularity, but she's not clearly. And so many people do that, right? So I think it was more to show the reality of
part,
yeah. And I think it comes somewhere from me. Like, I've always enjoyed second chances, and like, just like, because I feel like life very rarely follows this very simple pattern, right? It's usually like all squiggly wiggly, and I like showing that, especially when it comes to relationships. So I wanted her to have this experience where, you think you found the one, I found a great guy, everything's great, and then it turns out that, oh shit, it's not. But then, because life actually had something better in store for her, which is where somewhere I like to give my readers that message, that even when things seem like everything's going wrong, nothing's going your way, just have the patience and keep going, because you really never know. God has probably planned something better for you, or destiny or fate or whatever you believe in, even if you don't believe in God, like the universe. And I'm a staunch believer of that. So everything is always going to be okay, and if it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything's always okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. That's something I've always believed.
Yeah. So Shipra has also said that I think people confuse themselves by saying that they're just expressing themselves, but expressing your opinions shouldn't be this rude or like this harsh that hurt others.
Yeah, completely. I completely agree. I mean, I think somewhere, as I was saying with Bollywood, and it's not like, I'm sitting and giving you all this knowledge that I'm like this saint. Like, we're all guilty of it. We all gossip about actors and stars and, whatever. And I've been known, in fact, as this person who I always give people like gossip, this actor is doing this, whatever. But like, as I grew up, at some point I realized that, there are also people. And, maybe it's like bad karma. Like, you think that when you're talking about Bollywood stars that it's not gossip, but at the end, like, it actually is. Like, it's not bad karma or whatever, but it probably is, right? So, yeah, I think it's something we all do, but we probably should do less of.
Simran says this was also relatable because you've seen this before in some shows and all. So yeah, the things came out. I remember some show. I think it must be some show. I don't watch reality shows, and I have people. I know people who religiously watch either Big Boss or some other reality show, and I'm like, oh God.
I feel like I'm losing brain cells when I watch any of the show. Like, as you're watching it, you're just getting like
please,
dumber.
No, please don't say that you don't watch it, because I would then be like, am I abnormal? Because am I okay?
So I'll let you know. I do watch some. So I'll tell you, I like Love is Blind. Okay, on Netflix, that is a guilty pleasure. I've watched all seasons. I enjoy it. But it comes from more like the love thing. Like, I think like the true romantic in me is like, oh, I want to see like who's going to end up and is it going to last? And so those kind of shows I do like. So I think more the international ones I do watch actually. I think just because I didn't like I just feel like Splitsvilla and Big Boss now, they just become too like it's I don't know. I don't see any point also, especially in Big Boss. So there's no point in my head, at least. There's no point for the show. It's literally you want drama, so you're just putting people there to fight and like. So I don't get the point of that. But if a reality show has a point where like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, all of those I do watch and I have watched and I find them entertaining. In fact, even that other one, which is what is it? I can't remember now. The one where they're not. It's on Netflix. You're not supposed to give into you're not supposed to get closer to the opposite sex. I don't know what it's called. That Lana. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I have absolutely no idea.
I can't remember the name. I can't remember. It's a show where basically these guys get put in a house or whatever, guys and girls, and they think they're on some sort of love dating show, but the actual point of the show is to not not every time you kiss a guy or you do something, the money gets deducted from like everyone's sort of thing. The overall prize money gets deducted. I just can't remember the name of the show. But it's very like, so it's kind of dumb also, but I do watch it.
My house only has CID playing, and that also it's in the living room, so I'm safe in my room, because I'm like, I hate TV. I hate television. My uncle once, when I was 15 years old, he gave me a name because I used to watch too much television. And then I grew out of it because I started working when I was 21. So I completely disconnected from the television world. So I do not have any idea of any reality shows.
Yo, Love Island. Is it Love Island?
So yeah. The show is Love Island, I guess.
It's not Love Island. It's something else.
Oh God, yeah,
I'll tell you. When I find the name, I'll message you.
That would be good. So Shipra is sharing that in Splitsvilla, one girl came just for fame and she lied that she was single, but she was dating someone, but at the same time created a big scene in the show because the guy in the show went to another girl.
Yeah. So that's reality TV for you. Too hot to handle. Yes, Shipra. Shipra knows what I'm talking about. Too Hot to Handle is the name of the show. Watch it. It's quite entertaining.
Okay. Nice. Okay. I think any questions, Kruthat? Anything you want to ask? Because you've been really amused, as have been I, and everybody has been really invested in the book. So, Anjali, this is I think this has been really wonderful. Thank you so much for this conversation, and also giving an opportunity to us to discover you, because as Read With Us, actually what stands for is recognizing and actually acknowledging and putting out authors who write so well, and they do not get recognized because, well, they are not famous. So people are really like I'm in my bloggers circle. There are self-published authors also who were first bloggers and then went on to write down their own book. So they write so well, and they're like especially when you are an avid blog reader like me, because I read blogs. So you realize that there is so much potential out there in their books, but they have to keep on working on their social media presence so that somebody picks up their book and reads it. So they continuously have to keep updating, they have to make reels, and it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for them, because it was very frustrating for me also. But having worked with YouTube videos, it became a bit easier to be on the camera, and but not everybody was like built like that. So that becomes something like Tanvi has come in. So she's also an author. So hi Tanvi. We were just talking about hi Tanvi. We were just talking about how it gets sorry it gets tough to be recognized, and thank you for actually giving us this opportunity to have a talk with you and discover your book. And I'm really looking forward to reading your previous book, which is until 19
Till I Die.
19 Till I Die, because after Tinsel Town Affair, I would definitely pick your previous book, because there are just some moments in your book that you're like, this is not something you read every day. And I have read new authors a lot in the last year, and even in the beginning of the year, but Meghna has been like, it's so hard to find relatable characters. Like just recently, I read one contemporary fiction again. That's by Thompson Robert, the celebrity CEO. It was so relatable, and the relatability factor plays such an important role in making us invest in contemporary fictions, especially for people who read contemporary fiction. So thank you so much for this. Tanvi, so Tanvi, do you have any questions? We were just going to wrap it up. We had a good talk with Anjali about her writing journey and her book, of course, and we would love to actually have Tanvi is also a podcaster. Actually, we would love for you to also read the book and have actually give a review about it. So any questions, if you have, please go ahead. And Shipra, Simran, Krutarth, any questions, please?
No questions from my side. Actually, I joined a little late.
It's the
So yeah, no question from my side at this moment.
Okay, great. So thank you so much, Anjali. It was great to have you, and we would love that you come back again for another discussion, and looking forward to your further readings. And also this discussion would not have been possible without the support of my members and your alignment of the book. It was just very thankful to you giving us an opportunity to actually read your book and have a discussion about it, because I just like, I'm just seeing everybody. So everybody is very was very caught up, and I was like, let's do this. This is a author, and she has like, let's pick a date and let's do an online discussion. So they all were like, yeah, I'll come there. So they were like, we will join. We might not be able to come on camera because they all have like even Saturdays working. So but they all joined in, and some had to leave because I think of office work actually. But yes, thank you so much. And this was a great way to discover Anjali Kriplani, because trust me, I will if I would have not been part of this discussion, and if I had not discovered you had not contacted me, actually I would never have gone through your other works, and I would have been like, what is Tinsel Town Affair debut? And then I'm like, no. So these activities actually make you realize that you're missing out on so many people, and because they're not they don't have a social media presence, or they are not trending. So I'm always on the lookout of people who are not trending and are actually writing books. And I actually against the idea of reading popular books, because I feel that the more we are I want good work to be recognized rather than just what's trending. So if there was a time period, now it's slowly dying down.
Yeah, when mythology, I know what you're talking about. Mythology was like all the
mythology was read and mythology was written, and it is written like anything now that people have been like, they're like, no, not another mythology. Please pass it on. So it's like now, like, people want to read something that they will enjoy, because that so Tinsel Town Affair, I can like my guarantee. So when I recommend this book, when I recommend it, because when I give it, I don't really give negative reviews, but there are books that are very good, exceptional, and then there are books that are very much in need of improvement, and I write about that. So there are parts. So can I always share the hidden gems to bring? That's so sweet of you. That's so sweet of you, Sunny. But that's really important, because people only read what they see on the internet, and seeing Tinsel Town Affair on internet will give it an opportunity to rise and actually get more readers. So once again, thank you everyone for joining. This was lovely, Anjali. It was so great to know you, and it was so great that we had this collaboration. We would also be uploading this as we had discussed on our book club page. And please let me give us you have any questions, please ask, and any other feedback you have to give, you are welcome. And that's all from my side. Any last thoughts from your end?
Yeah, no, I think likewise, I really enjoyed this conversation as well. So I wanted to thank you for this opportunity, because I think for us as authors, it is a lonely job. You're sitting and you're writing your book in your room or wherever. I wish it was in a cabin in the mountains. That would be lovely, but it doesn't happen. It's usually in the middle of your real life. So yeah, and so then we do, for me, this is the best part, is actually interacting with readers. And whether it's, I always generally prefer offline events, but given like the busy schedules of like everyone, including me myself, online sometimes becomes like the best way to actually talk. And I think I've done many I've done online sessions before and stuff, but not necessarily with people who've actually read the book. So I think that makes this really fun and different, because people have actually read your book, so they're asking you relevant questions related to the book. So I think that's a really fun and a different way of doing things, which I've really enjoyed, because usually it's me doing a reading from the book, or like addressing an audience that has no idea about the book, and then later they'll read it and they'll give me their reviews and they tell me they liked it or not. But this is lovely, because people have read it, and then it's nice that you're getting those questions specifically about the book. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed this. So thank you so much, Sakena. Thank you everyone who's attended, and I look forward to when you put it up on the page as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Okay,
thanks everyone. Okay. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.